Let's talk Nikola Vlasic. I think that's how it's pronounced anyway. I might as well try and get used to it because we've decided to try and purchase this man, the Croatian, from CSKA Moscow. I think it will either be on a loan with an option to buy or an obligation to buy, whatever the board see fit, I guess. And that'll be for around 25 million. But this video is going to be about him as a player. And as a player, let's be perfectly honest, there's very few of us out there that know too much about him, myself included. So I want to do a video on what I think West Ham are getting based on the stats. I've compared him with Ben Rama, Fornals, Bowen. Thought I'd leave Jesse out of it just for now and see what Moyes is thinking, because from the outset, I thought Vlasic will be a player that maybe he wants to get close to Mikel Antonio, maybe a player that can make runs into the box. And there is part of his game is like that. Of course, naturally, he's a playmaker, but it's more to just add depth to what we've already got, an attacking midfielder that can get goals, got 11 goals last season. And in terms of shot frequency, it's a lot higher than the other players that we have. So we're looking at a player that varies the type of shots that he has from outside the box. He's shot more from outside the box than the other three players I've just mentioned. He does it on a more frequent basis, 4 times every game. So I guess from that perspective, we're looking at a different mold of player. But the similarities are really where West Ham thrive, carrying the ball over long distances. There isn't too many stats regarding progressive carries or running from deep, and really you can only use the eye test. But there is things in there to say that his movement, he carries the ball over long distances. He's really comfortable with pressure around him. And obviously we saw what happened against Crystal Palace. When some of these players have pressure on them, they struggle. Vlasic doesn't seem to be a player that does. If anything, he gives us a real opportunity to bring a player onto the pitch that's going to attract players towards him, take them out of the game. And with the way that we are going to play, whether Mickey's playing or whether Lingard plays a false nine, we don't know. Pablo Fornals and Jarrod Bowen, they've got significant space. So I wonder whether against low block teams, it's giving us another avenue. I was encouraged by the variability of the shots as well. I'll talk about his goals and the type of goals that he's getting. But the fact that he is shooting from range, that he is comfortable, that he will cut in from the left, he is right-footed as well. I expect him to navigate more towards that left-hand side. Maybe Mickey plays a little bit more central at times. But the fact that he's willing to have a shot on goal from distance, maybe that's the one area of West Ham's game that we are lacking. And interestingly, how many key passes that he makes for CSKA Moscow. Now, 2.8 a game is very high. I appreciate you looking at the league. And again, I don't know too much about Russian football. I don't know too much about Croatian football. So maybe I'm speaking a little bit out of turn. But that's a very high percentage. So we're looking at a player here that got 11 goals last season, that is a goal scorer, but is also creative and willing to create chances for others. And I think with the way that this transfer window is navigating and what Moyes has said about the striker, and that possibly Lingard will be the only player that is going to play as an option up front, we are going to need a creative player, comfortable in possession, that will add goals to West Ham, but will also look to introduce others. Now, I want to talk about some of the finishes as well. And this is both him for Croatia and him for CSKA Moscow, not for Everton, because believe it or not, there's not too much on him in that regard. A lot of the goals that he's scoring, they're variable in terms of the type of finishes. So he can loft it over the keeper. He can put it in either corner. He seems to be quite creative in terms of his shot selection, which I think is important. It means he's not one-dimensional. But the positions that he's finding himself are within the box, within the overload, whether it's for CSKA Moscow or whether it's for Croatia at the Euros. That's important as well, because we are trying to piece this together in terms of little bits of evidence. And I think you see the way that West Ham, obviously, and Mikel Antonio helped create Pablo Fornals' goal for the first against Crystal Palace on Saturday. Those type of positions, West Ham's front four need to be making progressive movement into the box and trying to detract people and stop teams getting in shape against our transition. And Vlasic seems to fit that mold. And we also know that he can get his shot off and he's successful in that regard. So I think that's a real important asset of his. I like when I'm watching him in those just a few clips of him on the ball and he has players around him and he deals with pressure. I like the fact that he uses his body when he's dribbling. Yes, he can carry it over long distances. I'll talk about the little change in pace, which could be important for us in the counter. But he's using his body. He's using his physicality to the best of his ability. And I kind of, as an outsider looking in, and when I look at players coming to West Ham or even the Prem, I think a player that's able to do that is going to transition a lot quicker than a player that struggles, that looks to kind of set up a 1v1 all the time that's not using their physicality. So that's really important. What I really like about him, out of everything as well, and again, I know I'm only proposing here. We don't know. He could come to West Ham and it might not quite work out. Although I feel that Moyes probably wouldn't have made a decision like this if he didn't feel that he could come in and make an instant impact, is the change in pace regarding dribbling. Yes, he uses his body. Yes, he's aware of the spaces around him. Yes, he's comfortable with pressure on him. But the change in the pace, he can slow the game down at times and he can keep on the ball and he can assess the options. And then all of a sudden, he's got a quick acceleration away from one or two players. Now, I'm thinking low block opportunities. I know West Ham are starting to get Creswell, Soufal a little bit further forward. Maybe in games where West Ham have to be a little bit more conservative and rely on the quality of the front four, it would mean that Vlasic is going to make that change in pace, commit bodies, and again, beat them and create space for others. So that is a real important asset. So I guess in terms of his strengths, very much what we've got at the minute. Good in terms of progressing the ball, gives us a little bit something different regarding shots from distance, comfortable in the transition and carrying the ball, and also getting in the box and creating overload. So from that perspective, happy. In terms of negatives, there just isn't enough for me to see in terms of defensive stats to criticise him. I really don't want to get into that realm of it because in truth, I'm unsure about the number of pressures. I'm unsure about the number of interceptions, the number of blocks. And it is a very unique aspect of these West Ham attacking midfielders that they are able to defend as well as they are. But there's a part of me that thinks he's really just an attacking creative source that I wonder whether Moyes wants to give license to. Whether, we've seen Declan Rice drop between the centre backs and we've seen us being slightly conservative at times. Whether it's another option in a game where West Ham cannot afford to press us aside and we really have to go and create in terms of that front four, then that's a great option. And again, we're at the stage now in this transfer window where we need options, we need squad depth. And I'm encouraged to see the type of player that he can be. And if he does come to West Ham, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what he can offer. Obviously, creatively, he's shown it before and he's got the technical qualities to do it. Now it's about testing yourself in a league that's dynamic against sides with great energy, great work, great different styles of play. That's a real big test. Aside from that, his age, 23, is important. When you actually look in context at the age of some of our attacking midfielders, Ben Rama's the eldest, 26. If Lingard comes in, he'll be the oldest. Bowen, I believe, is 25, 24. Fornals is 25. This man here is 23. So we're talking longevity, players moving into their prime, an opportunity for them to develop and learn under David Moyes. But more importantly, it's just giving him another player to work with and it's giving other teams more issues to think about. So very non-committal in terms of whether it'll be a success at West Ham or not. I'm happy in terms of what I've seen. And again, it goes without saying, I do trust Moyes in terms of the type of players that he wants to fit in within the side. And it just seems to be a lot of core characteristics that mean he could become a success at West Ham. But only time will tell. So that's what I think about Vlasic. Let me know in the comment section what you think about it. Again, I'd love to get a Croatian football expert or even a Russian football expert on to discuss what he could offer to West Ham. I'm sure we'll see a lot of movement, to be honest, between now and tomorrow in terms of those final two signings, maybe three. But I think aside from Vlasic, we're looking at loans for Lingard and maybe one other. I really don't know at this stage. Take care, everybody. Drop a like on the video naturally. Subscribe to the West Ham Way if you're watching this and think, hang on, I'll see a little bit more of this moving forward. Check out the Patreon account. All the details are in the description below and the West Ham Way website. Again, the links to that are in the description below. Take care. I'll be back this week. All things West Ham will be Wednesday. We'll do a transfer window review. Unless we sign Lingard or another player, that will be it for me between now and the end of the window. There's no live streams planned. I want to get the boys in and we'll sort of break down and rate our transfer window so far. And of course, please come along, get your comments in and let us know what your thoughts are on things. Take care. Have a good rest of the day and I'll speak to you shortly.